Hi, I'm Lisa Donovan, co-director of brainworks, the Berkshire Regional Arts Integration Network. Today, the brainworks team and I are going to share with you a drama strategy that you can integrate into lessons in your classroom. Among the teachers we work with, this drama strategy is one of their favorites because it's so flexible. This strategy is also featured in Shell Education's book series, Integrating the Arts Across the Curriculum. The strategy is called Tableau, French for frozen picture. It's also referred to as a human sculpture or image theater. And as you'll see in just a moment, this drama strategy prompts students to use frozen poses with their bodies to act out an idea. Tableau can be used in a variety of ways to show a scientific process, depict a vocabulary term, illustrate plot points in a book, or recreate a historic event. Let's take a look at how to implement this strategy in your classroom. And as we go along, watch for evidence of learning in the English language, arts, and drama. Start by dividing the students in your class into small groups to build a tableau. Here we have a group of 4 people who will act out our tableau. Imagine that the class has just read the storybook The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig and Patrice Barton. The story is about a student named Brian who's quiet and introverted. As the publisher notes, nobody in class ever seems to notice him or think to include him in their group, game, or birthday party. Until, that is, a new kid comes to class and Brian finds a way to shine. The book is a terrific resource for any parent, teacher, or counselor looking for material that sensitively addresses the needs of quieter children. Included with the book is a discussion guide, and additional resources are also included. The teacher has assigned a group to create a tableau that illustrates the vocabulary word invisible. While this content may seem emotionally charged, as I just noted, the book does a good job of addressing it, and we'll revisit this in a bit as well. First, the group should spend time deciding together which artistic choices they'd like to make and how they will compose their frozen picture. In order to do this, they'll need to agree upon the definition of invisible. Here, we're working with the idea of someone who's ignored and treated as if he's not seen. Once the group establishes a shared definition, they can create a composition for their image. While creating the tableau, students will be asked to think about composition and draw upon 4 characteristics of tableau: focus, action, levels, and space. Now let's see the tableau, the frozen image that this group has developed. Take a moment to look closely at this image. How are the actors in the tableau communicating the vocabulary word invisible? Notice how each actor in this tableau is frozen in their pose. Remember that a tableau features still body shapes, like a photograph or a statue. If I'm a teacher assessing my students' understanding of the word based on this tableau, I can see from their poses that they understand the characteristics of invisibility from an English language arts perspective. From a drama perspective, it's also clear that this group has thought about the 4 characteristics that make a tableau: focus, action, levels, and space. Let's break down each of these elements and see how the actors have chosen to incorporate them. First is focus. The group has composed an image with a sense of where the viewer's eye will travel. Where is the visual emphasis in the image? Notice here that our eyes are drawn to the actor in the center of the image. Emphasis is heightened because one actor is at the lower level. The second element is action. Because all the body positions are frozen, actors should consider how, if needed, they'll show a sense of movement. Even though it's a still image, the actor still can show a sense of action frozen in time. A sense of action makes the image feel alive and dramatic. Keep in mind that the tableau should look to the audience almost like a camera took a snapshot of a moment in time. In this tableau, notice how the actors standing up are caught in the moment, interacting with each other. The next characteristic is levels. Notice how each actor is positioned at a different height or level. If all actors are standing in a straight line, for example, the tableau isn't as visually interesting for the audience. However, when some group members stretch, crouch, or lean at high, medium, or low levels, the tableau becomes much more impactful. The last characteristic of a successful tableau is space. When actors develop a tableau, they should consider how their bodies exist within the playing space. Are their bodies huddled together? Spread out? Consider how a message can be communicated by the spacing of each actor's body. Also, think about how the viewer will interact in the space. Because the tableau can be thought of as a human sculpture, remember that a viewer can walk all the way around the image, looking at it from different perspectives, just as you would a sculpture in a museum. So remember, focus, action, levels, and space, or falls for short, to help your students develop strong tableaus. Teach these concepts and practice them with the class before embarking on the lesson. You may also want to look at additional elements of drama. Once the groups have had the chance to perform their tableau, don't forget to have a class discussion about this arts integration strategy. Ask the audience what they observed or learned from the tableau that they saw performed. And ask the actors who performed to describe their artistic process. What choices did they make to communicate the idea and why? How did they problem solve when they got stuck? What was most challenging about making a tableau?
So thinking about artistic choices, I really feel like Brian, it was important to have him sort of hidden and sort of like be behind and reaching out and reaching toward you.
So the obvious choice was to make Brian lower and behind everyone else, and then we kind of slanted things diagonally from there, right?
In terms of focus too, and where we would want the audience to be looking, we wanted to make sure that Brian wasn't too hidden, that he was sort of central, so if the audience was looking, they'd still see him.
Making this image can be charged socially and emotionally. One way to introduce content that can be sensitive, but that deserves to be explored, can be using a dramatic approach created by Augusto Boal, a Brazilian theater artist who used theater as a vehicle for change. The approach is called real to ideal, meaning that you can balance an image that depicts an issue with one that illuminates a solution. How might Brian's invisibility be addressed? In the book, Brian makes a new friend. That connection helps to build a bridge with his other classmates. In using the real to ideal approach in Tableau, you have the opportunity to imagine what if things were different. This can become a kind of rehearsal for social change. This can provide a balance for the feelings in the first image and also invite you to think about what exactly needs to change to move from the issue to the resolution. Now, in the book, The Invisible Boy, the story offers the solution in that a new student joins the class and he and Brian become friends, and the new friend helps build relationships with other students. And that's great. But even if the book didn't go there, you could still take a challenging moment in a scene or historical moment and invite students to create an ideal version. How might this issue be addressed? What would a solution look like? Let's take a look at what this group came up with. Here we see that Brian is now seen by the other students, no longer invisible, and he's happily interacting. Now, the ideal doesn't magically happen. We can break down the changes from one image to the next, from real to ideal, by asking students to show the sequence of how one image evolves to the next. This helps us discuss what might need to change to go from what is to what could be. Here are a few final ideas to help you use the dramatic strategy of Tableau successfully in your classroom. Consider having some simple props available to students. This could be colorful scarves. They might promote some out-of-the-box thinking. Remember, teach the 4 characteristics of Tableau: focus, action, levels, and space ahead of time. Later, you can use these elements as part of a checklist to assess students' progress in making a tableau. The teacher can start a tableau by getting into a pose and then invite students to build on, one at a time. This is an especially helpful way to engage young students in Tableau. You can make a tableau with just one person, but remember, as soon as you add additional actors, suggested relationships become possible and more complex themes can be explored. Think about taking photographs of the groups in their tableau. Students can look back at the images and self-evaluate their work. You'll notice that in arts integration, you don't need to leave the process to assess learning. Assessment is built right into the strategy itself. The planning students engage in as they create their tableau provides opportunities for teachers to assess learning throughout the strategy. A debriefing conversation at the end of the process allows students a chance to explain their thinking. It solidifies academic concepts for them and helps you to evaluate their comprehension of the topics. We explored the vocabulary word invisible and scenes from a text, but you could use content across curricular areas. Imagine a tableau depicting mitosis and meiosis, or the notion of symmetry in math, or a historical moment such as the Oregon Trail, or a moment during the suffrage movement. We hope you'll try Tableau in your classroom. If you liked this video, be sure to check out other tutorials from BrainWorks: how to use soundscape in your classroom and how to use movement phrases in your classroom. Visit us on the web at brainworks.mcla.edu. Thanks for watching.